two nonprofit organizations that are founded out of Carbondale. So as far as Carbondale United is a well-rounded 501c3 that has actually been in place for about 4 years now. Being Carbondale United, the title, the reason is to be able to get other agencies and organizations together in Carbondale and the local community to unite in servicing our citizens in these local communities. So Carbondale United not only focuses on gun violence prevention, where they have hired 3 employed gun violence interrupters who, as well as 4 others as a part of Carbondale United, have been trained in the International Cure Violence model. So taking that model through the community when violence happens in relation to guns or in just relation to other community acts of violence, Carbondale United is typically called on by the community or other agencies and organizations to assist. In addition to the gun violence prevention, Carbondale United also provides workforce development assistance, working with Mantricon and other agencies to provide employment for youth as well as young adults and adults in the communities. They can do community service with Carbondale United as well in re-entry or probationary programs, assisting with finding jobs, also assisting with housing and maybe documentation that may be needed to be obtained after incarceration, like driver's license, IDs, social security cards. So really being in a place of providing a well-rounded, holistic service to the community is the focus of Carbondale United, working with youth and adults for a better tomorrow and really being able to communicate in a way where resources are available. A lot of times we look at Southern Illinois and everything trickles down from the big state of Chicago, and we really don't get funding and we really don't get the opportunities that some of the more northern communities receive when it comes to donors or even participation in programming and things that they typically have access to easier and more plentiful in the more northern counties of Illinois.
You know, and in the short time that Carbondale United has been impacting communities, there have been so many different programs and projects that have happened. And so I know you have lots of testimonials, but I really wanted to touch on what some of those programs are, what those projects are. And I know there's been several, but what are kind of some of the highlights that, you know, Carbondale United is really proud of bringing to Southern Illinois?
Yes, absolutely. I would say first and foremost, the gun violence prevention, because we're experiencing that in Southern Illinois, in every county, in every city, just about small towns. Even when it's not reported, it's happening. So to be able to have the community resource where maybe law enforcement doesn't have certain relationships for those to come and be able to discuss what's happened or have healing and grief sessions and vigils and things like that for that ongoing problem in our community. So I would say first and foremost, gun violence prevention and community violence prevention. And then in addition to that, just programming, being able to work with youth and being able to work with Carbondale High School in school suspension program on Thursdays. We actually have speakers, either ourselves or some other speakers from the community, agencies and organizations, to go out and speak to the students in ISS and give them messages that they may not hear on a daily basis while they're in that population. Things like discussing the importance of planning for our futures, financial literacy, discussing teenage suicide prevention, bullying, things that they typically are experiencing in school and outside of school, but don't have the support that they may need. In addition to that, a lot of collaborating with other agencies, providing programs and individualized events throughout the community. There was recently a panel that was held at Carbondale Civic Center where myself and the 3 violence interrupters were able to answer questions in regards to some of the concerns that the community had about some of the violence that was going on in different neighborhoods. How can they reach out to help Carbondale United and the violence interrupters to interrupt some of these things? So having listening sessions, panels throughout the community, monthly community meetings, which this Thursday will be Carbondale United's monthly gun violence meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And it is open to the public. It's open to the community. It is growing every month. I think this is maybe the sixth month or so that we've actually had monthly meetings. And it's always healing factor for those in the community.
Yeah.
It is to be able to have a voice in that room and to be able to have the support, from the community and from agencies who are actually sharing real resources.
Marcella, you mentioned the group that you got together. I think the last 6 months, the meetings. What were some of the questions that some of the community is telling you that they have concerns with that you guys can address?
Right. Some of those questions are things like when we hear gunfire, who do we call? Or if we are suspect of retaliation, and issues like that, how do we go about doing it the right way? How can we get involved as community members to actually assist Carbondale United in these prevention tactics?
So they're trying to be very proactive, but also not create more of a situation within the neighborhoods. So they're really trying to figure out the best way to address this gun violence.
Absolutely. And a lot of it boils down to being able to have a space for community to discuss what does a community action plan look like. For this area of Carbondale or for this neighborhood. I feel like being that platform and having those monthly meetings allowed them to be able to voice what it is they need. And that allows the resource to be readily available.
So tell us a little bit about what the funding that you'll receive during GiveSI, what will that money go to?
Absolutely. There's some programming that's in play right now. Some grants have been written to support programming, but we know that when you're a nonprofit, nothing moves if nothing moves.
Yes.
So what we're looking at is really being able to incorporate more community programming, like for families, where we can have rites of passage for families and other organizations and agencies to come together with the structure. We're looking for donor dollars that are going to be able to sustain even salaries. Right now, Carbondale United employees are working for free. They're waiting for grant funding to come in from a second round of the R3 grant, the Illinois R3 grant. Mm-hmm. So when you look at the work that's being done and the employees and those that are committed behind this work to be able to go out and do this from the heart, without being paid, it tells a lot. So the work is really necessary and it needs to be done. But in order to continue the work, donor dollars have to be, grants have to be. So that's kind of where we are with it, just implementing additional programming and adding on to expand some of the programming that is already taken place.
What have you seen as far as some wins, if we'll call it that, in the community from you being present and your team being present in Carbondale? What's something that sticks out there? You're like, man, this is why we're here.
People are calling and searching for resources. People are calling and asking to sign up to be a volunteer. Also, you can go to Carbondale united.org and you can actually set up your volunteer registration application there. So, or you can stop into the office at 309 East Jackson Street in Carbondale and you can fill it out on a laptop. I think this past week we may have had 3 or 4 people just stop in and volunteer, and some others have actually came in off the website. So.
Excellent. So the wins are you're getting people involved in the community, and obviously getting involved in the community can help directly and positively impact, hopefully lowering the concerns that a lot of the neighborhoods have, but also the violence itself.
Yes, absolutely.
And the violence interrupter model isn't new, but you guys are doing a fantastic job of bringing those funds in to support that program. And what the impact is having in the community is great. Can you touch base on what does that look like? What are some of those success stories? I know we kind of touched on it just a bit, but is there anything in mind that you say, you know what, if we had not brought this program into Carbondale, Illinois, things would be different? And meeting people where they are, because I know that's really, really strong for what you guys are doing, is trying to make sure that you are, even when we talk about having laptops available for people to sign up, just knowing that not everybody has access to that, and how not having access to that really limits what they're able to do. So really meeting people where they are is what Carbondale United is good at. So touch base a little bit on a testimony or a story that you can share about how Carbondale United was able to meet people where they are.
It's just so much.
There is so much. I
is.
know, even your location, I mean, just down to everything that you do is really about making sure that people have access to you.
Absolutely. I think that's a great question, and I definitely don't mind answering it. So a lot of, like I said, volunteerism, people reaching out even for employment opportunities, being able to take someone that has been incarcerated, that is now in the reentry demographic, and help them to regain their citizenship, help them to regain their space out here in the community by offering education, working with GD programs, working with the Rebound program in Carbondale. Also, again, Mantricon has a program where they can help you get set up for Rebound, and they can also give you a job at the same time. So knowing that we have those resources that are actually readily available in the Collaboration Center office, working with Land of Lincoln, having legal resources available in the office as well. Planned Parenthood was just in the office. So there's a lot of organizations, agencies, and even individuals that are doing this type of work that have been willing to collaborate with and work with Carbondale United to make sure that there's a wide range of resources and not just specifying, one thing or another, but understanding that as a community, we have community traumas and we have historical community issues that we have to correct in order to move forward. And it takes training, it takes knowledge, it takes resources. And the testimony behind it all is just the avenue that Carbondale United has went down to be able to, again, have a wide range of resources to help you from A to Z.
Yeah, absolutely. and plus you have some really fun events.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
that kind of helps too. I think I saw Van Eichner doing a musical chairs on a Facebook Live. That was like a lot of fun. So a lot of great events. You're really having a positive impact in the community. And I know, you talked about just having people volunteer. And so we just want to, do that call out that, definitely volunteer for Carbondale United if you can, but we also want you to donate.
Yes.
Right? We also want to make sure that these programs are being fully funded, that they are able to do some of the amazing events that they're currently doing in Carbondale and the surrounding community. And so after you sign up to volunteer, make sure that you go back and donate to GiveSI. Look for Carbondale United on that page. Tom's got his 3 steps. I'm sure he's going to go over as well.
It's all good. You got it covered. But there's just 3 steps, just dive down below. You got the description, step 1, click the link. Step 2, you just got to go down and look for Carbondale United. And the last one is just donate. It's that simple. And if anything alone, and I know this is a very serious topic, but Marcella is probably one of the top 2 best dressed that we've had all day. And so just alone, she needs to, you guys need to donate just so you know that you have the funds are going to someone that is committed to looking her best and going out into public and representing Carbondale United, because sometimes it is about how we look and how we represent ourselves in our community. And you did a great job. And thank you for sharing a little bit more about Carbondale United. And I hope that there's yours, like other nonprofits that we've talked to today. I hope that there's a time when we don't need it.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
Right?
That's the goal.
Create safe communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.